Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Kooplings, and welcome back to the Nintendo Shack. My name is Donnie Reese, and we welcome you to episode 112 of the Nintendo Shack podcast. I'm joined this week, as I am every week, by my sister from another mister, Miss Caroline. What's going on?
Hello. I'm just going through the motions of life.
We're gonna pep you up a little. We're gonna do it with this week's Mad Lib, Patreon Mad Lib, for those that support us over there at patreon.com/PSVG. This one is titled One More Game. So, Caroline, I need a noun.
Piano.
I need an adjective.
Bright.
I like that one. I need another adjective.
Dark.
I need a part of the body.
Finger.
I need a verb.
I'm trying to not make them as crazy because last week you gave me such crap that the verbs with ing are just crazy.
See, I just always constantly have my head in the gutter, and every time I read one of these things, I'm like, this could go. We should do this on DLC. This is what we should do. We should do Mad Libs on DLC.
Completely done drunk. Yeah,
Drunken Mad Libs.
A verb. I will say smile. Or smiles.
A place.
Japan.
Nice. Japan. A celebrity and an animal.
Avril Lavigne and a panda bear.
Didn't she just release a pop album or something?
She's turned into pop after her third album. I love old Avril though.
I need a number and an adjective.
273 and shiny. I like the word shiny. I use it a lot.
I need a last name.
Smith.
A noun.
Paint.
A type of food.
A type of food?
Yeah.
Bread.
Now I need give me a patron.
A patron would be Kyle Hyman. Kyle Hyman. I'm sorry, Kyle. I should know how to say your last name.
Give me a patron's first name.
Kyle. Another patron?
Yeah.
Well, the next one that I was close to was Paul Calicote, so Paul.
A verb ending in ing.
I said smile already, so I can't say smiling. We'll just digging.
I need an exclamation.
Snap.
And a verb.
Blow.
One more game. Here we go. Convincing your piano to let you stay up past your bedtime to play video games can be bright, but it's not impossible. Here are some dark excuses to use when you need one last game. My finger hurts. The only way it'll feel better is if I smile these cyborgs. Smiling? That's a bad verb. Give me another verb.
That doesn't work. Smite instead of smile.
If I smite these cyborgs and save Japan.
Yeah.
The other one you could do is Avril Lavigne also plays Panda Hut. So if you want me to be successful in life, give me 273 minutes to finish this shiny level.
Yeah.
Another excuse is Mrs. Smith, my paint teacher, said that video games make you smart. She plays Bread Assault, so she would know. I like that. Bread Assault is pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see here. The next one is, there's nothing else to do. Kyle isn't here to play with. Grandpa Paul went to bed. And it's digging outside. Your last excuse, if you need one more game, is Snap. If you let me play Night Blow, I'll clean my room. Think about it. That's literally what it says.
Sometimes I wonder, like, the people that create these things, if they're just trying to make quota. And
I don't think there's people. I think it's just like generator bot.
You think?
Yeah, just spits
like
out stuff into
crossword and Sudoku things. Yeah,
exactly.
Probably.
Exactly. Caroline, what are we up to? What are you up to? What are we doing?
Nothing.
Still?
Absolutely nothing. Well, I got a cool achievement in WoW. I unlocked the Nightborn race, which is an allied race, which is not one that you can normally have. You have to become really, really, really highly favored with them. It's called Reputation, and you have to do a lot of quests and stuff with these certain factions. And this race is called the Nightborn Elves, and I got exalted with them, which means I get to make a character of that race on my account. Cool, right? And then today I finally got my 20th pet cat, which is not exactly the easiest thing. There are 25 or 26 cats that you can choose from, and a lot of them are old pets that are like $50 cards on eBay or something crazy like that. So I'm not willing to pay that money for that. And I grinded it out, and I got the achievement Crazy for Cats and the title Crazy Cat Lady. So I'm never taking that title off. I'm very proud of it. It is very true to life. But I have not been playing any Nintendo titles. I don't even know if I'm going to take my Switch on the plane over to Dublin at the end of this week.
I don't think our folks know that you're going. You haven't told them yet.
Oh, okay. I'm going to Dublin, Ireland, not Georgia. Dublin, Georgia is a place.
It's not
in
a
the
place.
middle
It's
of
not
nowhere.
really. Yeah.
Yeah. So, going to Ireland, and we'll be there.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's going to be kind of we'll hit the ground running and doing as much as we can in 3 days, because we're only going to be there 3 days. We're coming back on the 23rd.
I just listened to Jenna Fisher's podcast called The Office Ladies.
Yeah.
Talk about her over weekend night getaway to Dublin, Ireland, where they flew there all overnight, and they were bound to not let jet lag get to them, so they stayed up. Yeah. And then they basically almost fell asleep in a restaurant, and then they found a poker tournament at a bar, and they stayed up all night long playing poker, and then they crashed in the hotel, and they missed their next day's activities, and they had to get back on the airplane and come back.
Well, apparently everything is decked out for Christmas. We're staying in this lovely old area of Dublin that's on the south side of the river called Temple Bar, which is named after the Temple Bar that has been there since the 1300s and is still standing. So we're definitely hitting that place up. We're going to the Trinity College Library to go. The Book of Kells itself is actually not out. It's being touched up and put away for safekeeping because I think they're doing some renovations. But we're still going to the library because Brian and I are book nerds, and we really just kind of want to experience that gigantic library for ourselves. We'll be going to the Guinness Storehouse Brewery, which I've heard is the Disney World of beers. That will be fun. And then we're going to make a day out of old churches, cathedrals, and the Dublin Castle. So we're going to have a lot of fun. It's probably just going to be 90-0 for 3 days straight, and sure. I'm going to be exhausted.
And then you come back and you're off work, you have nothing to do, you relax.
Yeah, I'm officially, we have one more, as of recording this, I have one more day of work, and it's been a really rough week of work because I feel like everybody's just realized, holy crap, she's going to be gone this Thursday through the end of the year, and we need this done, and hey, can you do this by the time you leave? So
Wow.
I'm a little stressed, but I am so looking forward to having time off. I really am. Normally, I dread it because I know that I'm going to be missing a lot of work, but I'm just over it at this point, dude. I'm ready to chill.
So here's the question: when you go to Ireland, are you just
Yep.
going to like disconnect, like turn the phone off, everything, just you and Brian, or we're going to see like pictures and stuff? Can we follow along? Can we vacation with you on Twitter or
Will
something?
I won't be posting unless I have Wi-Fi to do that. I'm not bringing my computer, and I'm probably not going to bring my Switch either, just because uh, we're leaving at 8 p.m. Eastern time, but
Mm-hmm.
we're arriving after 6.5 hours or so, and it's going to be almost 8 in the morning over in Dublin. So we kind of have to sleep on the plane.
Yeah.
And I
Drink.
know going over or on the way back, I'm probably going to be sleeping as well. So there's really no time for me to like a good time for me to play the Switch. Our layovers are not that long. Anyway, yeah, sorry. I've got my Xanax.
I was gonna say drink and NyQuil, but
It's going to be
Xanax works
raining
too.
and cold every day that we're there.
Of course it
Just
is. It's
raining and
Ireland.
cold.
Like, what did you think it was going to be? Sunny and
Well,
hot?
I mean, like we were actually talking about like it's been really miserable this December in Georgia so far. It's been like
Oh, it hasn't
rain
been so
and
bad?
cold. It's been raining cold for 2 weeks, dude.
It's not like
It's been,
okay, all right.
but
So-
we were
but
saying
I have to
probably-
soften what you're saying because for our listeners that don't live in Georgia, what she's referring to is today it was like 43.
Well,
That's
okay,
not
yeah,
really
it was
cold for
cold.
most people.
Yeah, I know, but for me, it's just been it's so
And that's-
like it's just depressing
Today's
weather.
been like the messiest day. Like the other days haven't been so bad.
I feel like it was pretty
been in
much
the
raining
60s.
all last week. Anyway, what I'm saying is that Brian's like it's literally probably the same weather system that's just going up the jet stream.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
across
You're gonna like
the
fly
planet.
through it and it's gonna follow and hit you again in Ireland.
I'm not exactly happy about that, but at least when we get above all of the weather, it'll be sunny.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to be playing when I come back. I don't know if I'm getting any games for Christmas.
I'll save that for the
I-
second episode. We got lots of questions about that.
Yeah, I know Brian's getting a present for Christmas that is possibly a game.
I know what it is.
And I'm not going to say anything here because I totally don't want him to listen and be like, oh,
Sure.
I know what it is. Yeah.
It's another thing you do. You load up on some podcasts, maybe some
That's true,
audiobooks,
too.
and like just put some headphones in and just relax. You need to focus on having a really good time. So the reason I asked the question, I was going to suggest that you turn the phone off and just go disappear into the world for a little bit. Disconnect
have-
from the internet, disconnect from the news and Twitter and the following and all that. Just go away and then come back.
I'm a very worried cat mom, and my sister is coming and keeping the girls. Like, she's
They'll
just
be
making sure that-
fine.
I know, but I have a app downloaded just in case, she needs to contact me. Otherwise, it's $10 a day through Verizon every time I use data. So
Yeah.
I'm there for emergencies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably won't be using my phone much except just to take pictures
Good.
and
I love
navigate.
doing that. Even like with my kids now, like sometimes I go on vacation, I'm like, all right, we're disappearing now. Like now it's time to go 0 dark 30. Goodbye. Zip. And just
I
go
wish
off
I
and-
could do that. I'm just so anxiety ridden.
And that's why you need to do it. Right?
I
Like
don't
the
think I
reason
would-
why you need to
I think
do it
I
is
would be
because
more
of your
miserable
reaction.
doing that than not.
Well, I hope you enjoy what is, I wish I could go to Ireland. I think a lot of people do. Like I enjoy this I don't know the word. Enjoy this opportunistic like moment thing. You've got this opportunity, this
Yeah.
like grateful
I guess for
thing that
me,
you get
it's
to
just-
do.
I'm not a travel person.
I neither am I. I'm really not either. I'm with you there. I think every time I take a business trip or anything like that, I'm usually most of them makes fun of me all the time. I'm good for like 2 days. For 2 days, I love it, and like that third day, I'm ready to go home. I'm like, all right, I've done it. I've had enough of it. Let's get out
Oh
of here.
no, dude! For me, it's 10 minutes into the car trip going somewhere. I'm over it. It's the packing the bags. I'm over it.
Like
we
we
went
went
to
to-
my
Go ahead.
sister-in-law's graduation was an hour away up in Dahlonega, and just doing that on Saturday, I was like, this is just the whole day is just shot.
Yeah, but that's an errand. That's different than like travel. Like we went to New York City a couple years ago, and I had a ball. Stayed up all night and day for
NYC
48
scares me.
hours. And then I wanted to go home. And like we were scheduled for like a week. And I did the same thing in Colorado, and I did the same thing in New Orleans. And Melissa makes fun of me all the time because it's almost like clockwork. I leave almost every event that I'm at like early. I always like find a reason to get up and leave because I want to get back home at some point.
Yeah, I'm just a hermit.
Yeah, I think I am too. I spend a lot of money to make my home the place I want to be. I don't like being away from it for too long.
Yeah, I hate being taken out of my element. I had to go run to the bank to make a deposit today, and just going out for 15 minutes was like, I hate the world. I hate people.
That's what we were talking about on the DLC thing when we were talking about if we were millionaires and things. And I was like stunned because, everybody else was like, we're going to travel the world. I was like, I'm not doing any of that.
No, I'd make sure that I had enough money to get groceries delivered to me for the rest of my life, so I never have to leave the house.
Yeah, like I gave them this grand vision of like me building like my own little like compound amusement park that I'd never have to leave. I'm like, this is what I'm doing. I'm not doing any of that. Screw that noise.
Yeah, different strokes, different folks. I'm just a big introvert.
Sure.
That's what it comes down to.
I'm not really playing anything either, to be honest with you. So I'm going to join you this week. I played a little Fortnite. I won my first game ever.
Cool.
This
yeah,
weekend.
I saw your big fat victory royale.
I've gotten second a couple dozen times. Like I think I got second actually the first time I ever played. I got second. I've gotten second a bunch. I've never gotten first. I usually get sniped off by somebody who builds a tall fort and hides in the corner.
Matched with idiots or matched with the good people.
Oh, I definitely think it was the Star Wars stuff because the Star Wars stuff with like lightsabers and you can reflect blasters and everything. So everything felt like a little more melee combat. So I was actually almost more at ease playing this. I wish I could play this event all the time because I had a blast. Jack and I were trading turns most of the weekend. We played a lot Saturday, Sunday. As I knew Saturday, if we logged in, we got the free stuff. They're giving away free stuff for the event. You get like a free glider and stuff. So I made sure I logged in Jack, and he showed me how to play. And then I thought it was pretty cool, so I started playing. And I got I think I got 5th or 3rd my first time. And I was like, oh, that was pretty good. I'll go again. And I got first. And you should have saw Jack. He was like, oh, my God, you won. Oh, he's like, take a screenshot. He wanted to document it so he could tell his friends. That was a real big deal for him. And
it's already so cute.
That was really, really cool. And then because of that, I totally bought the stuff too. I bought the skins and I bought the blaster. Because they're sitting there and they have all this Star Wars
stuff. Going on just for the month because of Star Wars coming out.
Of course, yeah. It's Star Wars mania everywhere, as discussed on PSVG Prime this week. But I totally, they got me. I totally gave them, I think, $20, and we already had some stuff. So we got the skins for Rey and the Jedi and the blaster and all that cool stuff. So we've been messing around with that.
Blizzard some money during their 50% off mounts and pets sale when that hits.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, what is the what's the correlation between you playing WoW and then your spirit? It's like as your WoW time increases, your spirit decreases. It's like you've been on this. Yeah.
Are you talking about my soul?
Yeah, like your demeanor. Like the moment you've started playing WoW, it's like your demeanor has gotten less.
I really have just been kind of going through a funk ever since.
Yeah, since you started playing WoW.
The middle of autumn, it really wasn't WoW. I think it was just. I think I've been dying for Animal Crossing to come out so long. And it's like Brian says. Brian's like, yeah, you've had a lot of games that have come out, but you haven't had your game come out.
Yeah, exactly. You haven't got that one thing that really grabbed you yet.
Mm-hmm. Luigi's Mansion was a nice surprise. We'll talk about that soon because we are doing our top 10.
Top 10 games of the year. That's what we're doing. Yeah. So, Shaq listeners that listen to us live, we're recording 2 episodes tonight. We're going to go offline for the second one. We're going to record our Christmas show, which will air next week live. And we're going to talk about our favorite games of the year this year and a little preview towards next year. So we can take next week off because obviously Caroline is taken off and I myself am taken off. So I'm not leaving the country or anything, but I won't be around either. So we're going to double up tonight and give you 2 episodes of goodness this week and then next week. And I played a little more Wargroove. That hospital thing is still going on. Like I said, it's going to be going on for weeks.
Oh, I saw stuff on the news where they're bringing the North Carolina people in.
Yep. We had to put in the road closure for that, for the city, and get that all speed lined and all that. That system that I built, had to rebuild it again.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And, but it's all working now. Today was the victory lap. Everybody was telling my boss what a great job I did. Because he's starting to catch my demeanor, I think, around the office. Because he was like, Donnie's been working late at nights, early mornings. He's been working around the clock on this thing. And I was like, yeah, I have. Starting to get a little upset about it. My house. So we got the storms last night. Did they wake you up?
Yeah, they did because
pretty
my
good.
cat was not happy about it.
So that hole in the roof that I had fixed didn't work. So I woke up in the middle of the night with water coming down the skylight.
Oh no, are you kidding me? That's got to be the worst.
So I called I texted the guy actually at 3 a.m. I sent him texts and pictures like, dude, I'm mopping up water right now underneath the skylight. He woke up feeling awful. He came back and redid the whole thing. Like,
Really?
Yeah, he ripped the whole thing out and redid the whole thing, reframed it, reshingled, new skylight, everything. Just we're gonna do it again. This will never happen again. I think he felt real bad. He was like,
Oh,
this
that's
sucks.
very nice of him.
It was.
Yeah, that's the same guy that fixed your sink, right?
It was, yeah, same kid. He's my age, and he's just he does like gutters for a living. Like he installs gutters, cleans gutters, does that.
Yeah.
But he's basically just kind of very handy. He can do whatever it is you kind of
That's
need.
like
done.
my dad. My dad's just like a Mr. Fix-It, jack of all trades kind of guy.
Yeah, so that's all I've been up to. I played a little war groove. Didn't even beat the 3rd chapter yet. So when I say a little war groove, I mean like 30 minutes of war groove. And that's basically been. I still been getting those cubic games. So if you guys have missed it, there's 2 days.
Yeah.
We've had 2 games come out. So we had a game yesterday. We had a game come out today. Yesterday was like the GABA runner game or whatever, and today is Puzzle Book. So if you haven't been following up with it, you already missed it because you do have to claim them every day. But if you missed it yesterday and you still want to get the other 8 games that are coming out, if you buy the game that was free yesterday, you can get caught back up. So you can buy the game that came out yesterday and then get today's game for free. The game that came out yesterday, I think, is 99 cents. So it's not going to cost you much. So if you missed out and you're listening to me live and then like this is out, you can do it. But if you wait another day or 2, it's probably going to be not worth your time. You have to spend, $5 or so to get caught back up. But if you're missing out on those, like we're still posting, I've been posting alerts in the Discord, psvg.blog/Discord, reminding everybody to go claim those free games.
Yep.
All right, Carolyn, let's break down some news before we talk about the Game Awards and wrap up with a few questions. The big news, I think today, is not a whole lot of news coming out this week, is Pokemon Go is getting a new Buddy Adventure feature. The PR announcement reads, Buddy Adventure is a bonding experience for trainers. You'll get to know your buddy's Pokemon or your buddy Pokemon's mood as you increase your buddy level by playing with your buddy, feeding your buddy treats, battling and exploring with your buddy. In addition, swapping buddy Pokemon no longer resets progress towards earning candy.
That's a good thing.
Like any great Pokemon trainer, you will find the world around you will become richer with Pokemon by your side as they grow with you and help you along your journey.
Have you seen the video for this? Because they
really-
showed a Guyball that was eating a Nana berry, and they got to do some work on this because like the berry itself is clipping through the top of the Guyball's mouth. Like it, for some reason, it just seems kind of, come on, if we're going to animate this, at least make it look convincing and don't have polygons clipping through each other. That's what bothers me. But I do like the switching out the no longer resets candy, because you could get all the way through a cycle towards getting candy and you have to walk a certain amount of kilometers in order to get one candy. I think it's like 2 kilometers per candy. Maybe it's 1. I don't know. But, especially during events, if there's a specific Pokemon that you want to bring out so you can start getting those candies that are for that event, it's just nice to know that your progress won't be completely wasted.
Sure. Yeah, it's just one little less barrier to keep you playing.
In a hot minute. Even Brian hasn't really played it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Sinnoh just kind of took the air out of everything, because all the Sinnoh Pokemon, I feel like in general, that generation was just kind of stale. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I like Dawn. I like the protagonists and stuff. I like Sinnoh as an area, but the Pokemon were just kind of meh.
I read the PR announcement. I couldn't stop thinking of the new Chucky movie. Child's Play with your little...
your buddy?
Yeah,
buddy?
The dude's not... the doll's name is Buddy. So they kept saying Buddy this, Buddy that, your buddy level, hang out with your buddy. And I was like, wow, this reads like the Child's Play movie. My second reaction to watching it was like how much further they have to go where this is basically just Tamagotchi with Pokemon. You start feeding, take care of it and everything. I was like, that's not a terrible
Waking
idea.
you up at 3 a.m.
That's not a terrible idea. I think I've said this before. Barring some crazy new thing, I'm over Pokemon Go. I haven't played Pokemon Go since like Let's Go. It's been a while, maybe a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
The fad has passed, I believe.
I mean, they still have millions of players, so I'm sure they'll be
Oh,
just
for
fine.
sure. Yep.
The Zombie Army Trilogy is coming to Nintendo Switch from the Sniper Elite folks, UK game publishers, and developers Rebellion are releasing the Switch edition of the Zombie Army Trilogy in Q1 2020. At least I believe it's Q1. I know the developer thing said 2020. I saw the blog, which I pulled the quote from, said Q1 because they have the 4th chapter coming out, I think in February. So I guess the idea is that this should come out before that, but I don't know if that's actually true. I've never played Zombie Army Trilogy.
I haven't either until you told me that it was a spinoff after Sniper Elite.
So,
yeah.
it's a sniper. It's a sniper game where you shoot zombies. So it has like this. It's like so Hitler releases his super soldiers, turns everybody in zombies, and you're a sniper and you go through and has a good following. I know people there. If you look it up, you Google and stuff. It's got pretty decent reviews. Lots of people play it. So it's a port that's coming to Switch soon. I don't know.
Yep.
I haven't played it on any other console, so I can't imagine that I would play it on Switch, but it is a shooter. We don't have a whole lot of choices to pull from. Mm-hmm. Caroline, a massive Stardew Valley update. Update 1.4 is out now.
On Switch. It's been out on Steam for a little bit, so I'm glad. This might get me playing Stardew a little bit again, just for the time that I have off, because the fish breeding is something that I really.
So you tell me what this means. So I wrote down some of the things there has, but if you go to their blog, there's actually an entire page of updates. So there's fish breeding, clothes tailoring, dyeing.
Yep.
There's a new mine content. There are a wealth of new clothing options. Now, what I can tell you, what they mean by a wealth, like over 300 new clothing items.
Yeah.
I think they have
so
180 outfits and like 60 hats and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they're really, you customize your character in the beginning of the game, and then you're able to change hats and stuff, and I think your boots or your shoes will show up as well as sprites, but really you're not able to change your clothes at all. So the fact that we're getting a clothes customization option in the middle of the game, aside from just the kind of sprites that are already there in the beginning for your character, is pretty cool.
Cool. So you get new hairstyles, buildings, decorations. Now tell me what this means. 14 heart events for every spouse.
Yay! All right, heart events in general for Harvest Moon, Rune Factory, whatever game you want to do. So they're kind of just like cutscenes where you're actually having a moment with the character that you're trying to woo. So in Harvest Moon games in the beginning, you had to witness all heart events at the color heart level. So Stardew is similar. They're not hearts per se. They're just little colored dots that are next to the character's picture. So you have one for purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. So these new heart events are in addition to the ones that are already there for marriage requirements for your townspeople. If that makes sense.
Okay.
I don't know if they are for. It says for every spouse. So
every spouse.
It makes me think that it's post-marriage stuff and not just like dating and getting to know the characters.
You also get a new heart event for Caroline?
Yeah. Caroline is actually a green-haired NPC. She is the wife of Pierre, who runs the grocery store, like the little shop in town. I was not aware that she even had a heart event, which is, for unmarriageable candidates like Caroline, it's just kind of a getting to know the character kind of cutscene.
Okay. There's Trash Bear, who will nip around town and clean up your mess after year 3. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I wrote this myself. There's unlockable content, and what I put down as spoiler surprises. Apparently, there's several. There's like a new mystery involving a cabin, and there's all kinds. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but there's all kinds of new story content as well. So if you haven't played it, or you haven't played it in a long time, this update appears to be quite the reason to at least boot it back up and go take a stroll.
Definitely the first time that I've felt inclined to play it since the Night Market event came out. I'm going to pick it back up.
The last game to captivate and capture my daughter's attention. She hasn't really played anything since, or like Stardew since Stardew.
She needs to probably get into Rune Factory. It's a dungeon crawler mixed with that kind of.
Ooh, I don't think she'd like that at all. I think the dungeon crawling parts of Stardew is what kept her from finishing.
Okay then.
Yeah, I think she just wanted like the Yeah, Animal Crossing. She just wanted
I heard the Harvest Moon remake that's coming out.
maybe now she's taken the stance that she tells people she doesn't like video games. So she went from loving video games and playing, and I've got all these pictures of her playing, to now she doesn't even like them anymore. So I'm not really in any position to like try and make her play or buy or something, because I don't think she's even gonna.
She'll come back.
Let's see. Let's hope so. All right. So the Game Awards happened last week, and we had a few Nintendo-related announcements. Most notably, I think Bravely Default 2 was announced. Caroline, I didn't write down any details here because I figured you would have all the stuff that you'd like to talk about.
Well, we'll just talk about Revo or Revo, however you want to say it. They are the musical geniuses behind the original Bravely and Bravely Second games. They are coming back. They're doing the soundtrack for this. These guys are like so big to the point that they have tours in Japan.
Yeah.
Like their concert is a big deal.
Yeah, it's like Persona over there.
Just for Bravely music. Yeah, Bravely is a big deal over there.
So like
I'm
Bravely
excited
Default
about that.
2 is technically like the fourth game, right?
It's the third game. So there was Bravely Default, which was the original cast of Tiz, Agnes,
Hang on a
Dia,
second. So, like,
and Ringo.
Bravely Default was released in Japan, and then they re-released Bravely Default with new content in America, and that's what we know as Bravely Default. So I think the Bravely Default we know is the second game, technically. And then we got Bravely Second.
I don't. I'll have to check that. I don't know that.
That
for
was
fact.
my impression, because I think, and and you would know more than me. I haven't played these games. I've played a little bit of them. I had them both. I have not beaten these games, I guess is what I should say. But I remember following it when it was in Japan, because it was making like the blogs and stuff. I think Bravely Default, the game, came out in Japan. I think they added like an extra story content, and that's what we got like years later, maybe a year, 2 years later.
It was about a year later because I remember it came out. No. Oh, wait a second.
And then we
It was
got Bravely
released-
Second, which is weird, because how does Bravely Default 2 fit in with Bravely Default
you're
Second?
right. All right. So Bravely Default Flying Fairy was the very first release.
Japan only, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
October 11th, 2012. The quote for the sequel was the additional content that was added to Bravely
Because
Default.
the reason that I remember that is it's kind of like it's like Dragon Quest and like Yokai, where we were getting versions that weren't like on time.
Right. So the for the sequel stuff was all encompassing for Europe, America, and Australia. Flying Fairy is just the base game, but really it's pretty much all the same game. They just got a re-release with extra content. You're right. But it is still the same game with the same characters. Bravely Second is the second game, and it is a direct sequel to Bravely Default. So
Which is weird,
it's
because
the
now we
same,
have Bravely Default 2.
right. We have the same characters in Bravely Second. This one, from what I saw in the trailer, what little we got, brand new characters, brand new setting,
Yeah.
completely unrelated to the first game's characters. So that's why I believe it's called Bravely Default 2 and not Bravely Second. So then do we get Bravely Second 2?
Bravely Second. Yeah, because it's like
Bravely
we're
Default.
like in like a Final Fantasy X-2 type situation.
Yes. As soon as I heard the music, I'm thinking, sounds just like Bravely soundtrack. And then they started showing the people that were working on it for Bravely and Octopath, and the Octopath Bravely style of the sketches with the watercolor art. And I was like, it's a Bravely game. I knew exactly what it was. I can't wait. This was for sure a big, like, it was like he said, he's like, you guys are not expecting this at all before he showed the trailer. And he's right. I kind of wish that we would also get maybe a Bravely Default and Bravely Second port to Switch. I think that
They
would
didn't
be...
give us any time frame, so like we're not expecting this next year, right?
Well, it said 2020.
Oh, did it? Okay.
It said 2020.
Okay, good.
Um,
Wow.
So, yeah. I'm thinking at the end of next year.
Sure.
What we saw was basically concept art and the models of the main characters, but I don't know how.
I know this isn't saying anything that people don't already know, but man, is the Switch like the new JRP machine. Mm-hmm. God, there's so many of them now. They're everywhere. Final Fantasy, Bravely, Dragon's Quest. I mean, they're everywhere. They're constantly coming out.
Yep.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm hoping that as big of a thing it is in Japan, and we did have a nice re-release of Bravely Default when Bravely Second came out. That was kind of a collector's edition re-release. I'm hoping we get some sort of pomp and circumstance edition of Bravely Default 2 in America, because Japan will definitely have it. It's kind of like, I honestly see Bravely as the really elaborate editions up there with the Zelda franchise. There's really, really nice stuff. I own both art books, so there's clearly a following, and there's a lot of nice art and materials that they could do something with for a really pretty edition.
I think I've learned my lesson with Dragon Quest XI. I don't know how many of these I can sign up for. I still haven't even popped that cartridge in.
You just don't have the commitment to
I don't have
sitting
the
down and
space.
playing.
Like, I don't have the time. I don't have the space. I don't have the window for it.
I guess
It doesn't exist.
It's also just a commitment to sitting down and making sure that you're going to finish it through to the end. That's a lot of things with people with Bravely. They just gave up on it. It's a difficult game too. It's not a JRPG that I recommend if you're not new to or if you are new to it. I don't recommend it. It's a very difficult turn-based RPG.
Yeah, I'm like RPG noob. I need RPG light.
Yeah.
I like Pokemon games.
Bravely Second is even more difficult.
It's pretty though.
It's all beautiful.
Yeah, the
It's
3DS
all so well
version
done.
was really, really pretty. It was really gorgeous. Even on 3DS, it was gorgeous.
For somebody that is, oh my god, I completely lost my train of thought.
It's okay. We can move
Sorry. No, we can move on. I just
Okay.
completely.
on. To equal Caroline's excitement for Bravely Default 2, No More Heroes 3 got a trailer. And boy, was it an epic one. Now, I did not watch the Game Awards, as I've said many times already. I really don't watch the show. But I did see the Twitter light up for this, so I immediately took to YouTube and I watched the extended trailer. So it starts with this studio, like Ghibli type art style. And it has this awesome, like, basically a troll, like this swerve, where I don't know, I actually thought we were looking at like a Ni no Kuni game or something. I was like, I don't know what this was, until I started seeing the characters and started like seeing them talk to each other and hearing the names. And then all of a sudden, so we see the alien, we see Fu, which Fu was already announced by Suda51. And then we see Damon, which is Damon Richitello, which is the main antagonist from Travis Strikes Again. He's like this evil corporation, or he's not really evil per se, but like he beats crap out of was it Gene? No, it's not Gene. Anyway, he beats crap out of somebody and takes a death ball. That's what you know about him. He's in one of those little narratives in Travis Strikes Again. And he's just kind of like the opposite of Travis. Whereas Travis is like the whole punk and make my own rules. And Damon's all very like corporate, just kind of douchebag,
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, aliens come back down. You see Damon. It's got this whole big city thing. Fu shows up. You got all these aliens. It's like super galactic. There was the GD superhero, which, by the way, totally bought that shirt. The moment I saw it, I was like,
really?
oh, absolutely. I was like, I need that shirt instantly.
As soon as he said that this world, apparently superheroes are really popular, I knew exactly what it was as soon as he said that.
And then Travis smashes through the logo and announces that he's a GD superhero, and that is pretty awesome. So my immediate takeaway from seeing No More Heroes 3 again at the Game Awards is I'm starting to become a little taken aback by how much publicity that No More Heroes is suddenly seeming to get. And I'm not sure if it's like the snowball is just rolling in their favor.
I don't remember the other games getting this much press.
No, we've seen this thing at E3 in Nintendo's Direct. We've seen it in other Nintendo presentations. It's been completely highlighted and marketed. And now we see it at the Game Awards. It's gotten more publicity and showcasing than Animal Crossing, than a lot of games, like games that are coming out soon. And I was just like, wow, I wonder how it's going to sell. Because Grasshopper's not like a very big, company or publisher. So I don't know, maybe they're treating it, maybe they think it's going to be a big deal, or maybe it's just the nearest thing that's available, or maybe they're just really open to partnerships and are, taking on any opportunity. I don't know.
Wasn't Travis Strikes Again featured on their indies, their indies thing a couple years ago? Yeah, so Maybe they're trying to elevate the status.
Maybe they are. Travis for Smash?
I don't know.
It's like, what do you got to do to be qualified for Smash? Do you get to headline conferences? Because Travis seems suddenly to be headlining things, and I'm okay with it. Like I'm actually very excited for Suda51 and Grasshopper and Travis, the character, and these games to get some publicity. I don't know though. Like it's definitely not showing on my Twitter feed and my echo chamber. I'm not seeing lots of people who like get excited for it, and that's like what I'm used to. That's what I'm accustomed to. I'm accustomed to like. I like Travis Strikes Again. I like No More Heroes. Like, not necessarily telling people so much that I like it because it's a gritty, chauvinistic, grindhouse type of game. You know, it's not like I love Mario games. Like, you tell people, like, oh, dude, I love Travis Touchdown. It's got some connotations that come with it.
What you just say?
Yeah, it's got some otaku things that come with it. So anyway, I was a little surprised. I was not even a little. I was majorly surprised that this was at the Game Awards of all places, to be honest with you, on such a grand stage. I'm really excited for Suda51. Man, I really hope they nail it. I mean, I obviously want the game to be great, but even if they gave me No More Heroes 2, I would still be super excited. You know, like, I really like the game, but I would love for them to like really hit it out of the park. I would love for this to be like an Astral Chain type of hit. I would love for lots of people to play it and be like, this game's awesome. That would be amazing, because that would give them all the ammo I think needed to put some time into remastering, getting the other ones out. I don't know. I was just a little taken aback that it was there, and it was shown for so long and had like such presentation and kind of, you know, was staged appropriately. It seems like Nintendo and Grasshopper, it seems like everybody is really trying to push this game as, you know, this is a big tentpole. This is a big this is a marquee release for us. And we want you to know about it. And I'm just not really used to that, so I'm a little caught off guard. That's like my main takeaway from it. I'm just a little caught off guard. I was like, wow, this is pretty incredible. There was some controversy that followed the trailer that came out. There was an animation company named Studio Plumeau, which alerted on Twitter. They tagged Grasshopper and Suda and said that there was an effect in the trailer that essentially was plagiarized, copied directly from them. And they actually had a side-by-side presentation, like slowed down to the millisecond, like, hey, here's what we did, I think it was in 2011, and then here's what you just put in your trailer. And I expected it. There was a long Twitter thread about what was going on and everything, and I was really excited to see that both Grasshopper and Suda, they acted quickly. They acknowledged it. They said it was there. They'd looked into it, and it turns out what it was is they were working with a production company that helped them make the trailer. Yeah. And they bought video effects from another animation studio which had plagiarized the original animation studio. Yeah. And all of it has been worked out, and they all said thanks, and they all kind of resolved the matter, and I was happy to see them do that. But yeah, it sucks to see that little trending on Twitter. I don't think many people knew about it or noticed it, but
no, I
it
saw
was something.
it. That's just because I have the news sources on my Twitter all the time.
Yeah. Multiple Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 got new DLC, so they got some new skins for Cable, Gambit, Iceman, and Phoenix, and a new player versus player training mode. And then Nintendo took home prizes for Best Family Game, Luigi's Mansion 3, Best Fighting Game, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Best Strategy Game, Fire Emblem Three Houses, and, quote, the Player's Voice Award, an award that's strictly determined by fan votes, given to Three Houses.
Yeah, I voted on Twitter like a bunch for that. So we did it, Twitter. Yeah.
I think the Fire Emblem fans are extremely vocal. Like they rival anybody.
Sure. Like it wasn't even close. Sure. The final four, Fire Emblem Three Houses was leading by 40% last time I saw it.
Smash.
So the other 60 was split between the other three. So yeah.
What a little event for Nintendo. So I guess the ultimate reaction was we didn't get Smash. No Smash character.
No.
So Winter Direct? Gotta be, right? January?
I think January we'll know.
Yeah, it should be. Yep. And we didn't see anything, like there was no Breath of the Wild, there was no Mario, there was nothing. There was just these
no Bayonetta 3.
No Bayonetta 3? Yeah, good one. I forgot about that one.
It's 2 years since they announced the teaser for that.
So I think some Nintendo fans might have felt left down by it, but I wasn't. I think Bravely Default 2 is a huge announcement.
Bravely definitely made it worth me watching.
Seeing more Travis Strikes Again, that never gets old. I want that GD superhero as a tattoo, maybe. I told Melissa, she looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, freaking, I loved it. The moment I saw it, I was like, that is awesome. That needs to be a canvas. Like, that's going on the wall. That's really cool. I like that.
Artwork.
All right, let's get into our Shaq questions direct from you. The first one comes from Professor Switch, and he wants to know why Caroline won't play League of Legends with me.
League of Legends.
Oh,
Joel is back
League
into
of
the
Legends.
streaming scene. It's nice to see him.
It's a new
on
indie
his
game, League of
break.
Legends.
Yeah, League of Legends. My League ship sailed a long time ago, kind of like how my WoW ship sailed a long time ago, but I got a taste of League again with that Arena of Valor game you remember that came on Switch that Tencent has completely dropped all sort of, they're not supporting it anymore. I think it's completely dead in the water.
Wow.
But Arena of Valor made me really rage. Imagine that 10 times worse for League of Legends. It is extremely toxic. I am extremely competitive. It's not a good
You are
mix.
extremely competitive. I don't like competing against you.
Yeah, I get very angry very quickly, and I'm sitting there in chat trying to backseat game for Joel, and I'm like, just watching.
Wow.
I'm getting freaked out by it. So that's why I can't do it, Joel. But Joel, you should totally join me back on WoW. It's totally, you know the
Cat
old
lady
stuff. Yeah. Join the crazy cat lady.
Drew wants to know, what Nintendo series are you hoping comes to Switch next year? He suggests he would love to see a WarioWare game that uses the Joy-Cons in creative ways.
Mario Golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I feel
think
like a
they're
broken
working on
record
that.
sometimes.
Well, I mean, like
I feel
I'm
like
trying
we're
to think
so
of
predictable.
any Nintendo games that we haven't had that I just need. and
So when
it's
we talked about, and I mean, we'll get into this in our next episode when we talk about some of our 2020 stuff, but after our E3 stuff, I think we talked about a WarioWare. Like, I think, don't I remember saying that? I remember saying that. Yeah, I think because we had the podcast with Kevin where we were trying to figure out what would be the next franchise, and I thought it was like, well, WarioWare. We haven't had a WarioWare game in a while, and that makes sense.
Right.
That could be next year's Mario Tennis or next year's Mario Party. Speaking of Mario Party, like, is that game just done? Are they ever gonna like update it or give us any sort of
Never given us
DLC or
any
updates or let us play online? It's a really good game. I still have that game. I plan on playing it next week. Great Christmas game, but man, it'd be really nice if they. I felt like they were. I felt like they had a really awesome base, and if they could open some things up and build on some online, we'd have a great Mario Party game. And we haven't heard about it since it came out. It's like
They gave
nothing.
Mario Tennis Aces the very good free DLC.
They updated it for like 2 years. They kept updating.
But Mario Party hasn't gotten anything.
Zilch.
I think it's
Nada.
Like 1.0.1 or something.
It isn't
like
Mario Party. Didn't it sell really well for like the recent Mario Parties? I thought it sold well.
It came out in October of last year, so I think it did well generally for Christmas sales, but I don't know how well it did. I think it came out. Yeah, I think a lot of it just sold in October. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at numbers, but
It's hard for me to get past the Mario Golf. That's like the one major franchise that I would really like to see. I mean, obviously, I'm always happy to see Zelda. I said last E3 next year will be the year that we get a Mario game. Like, I'm on record with that. I think next year's Mario, then Breath of the Wild is the following year.
Sure.
So, yeah, WarioWare should mix in there. Throw in another Kirby something. Maybe they throw in a new IP. Yeah, like they got plenty of stuff. We got Animal Crossing. Got a lot of stuff. Save a little bit for the next episode.
Yep.
Next question comes from Kaiju. In my opinion, the 3DS library is one of the best out there. But as the years have gone by, I'm noticing the Switch library starting to gain some legendary titles. Do you feel the Switch library has surpassed the awesomeness of the 3DS? If not, what games would it take to do so?
I have more 3DS games than I have any other
I do too. So
right now.
Here's the difference between the two libraries as I see it right now is that the Switch doesn't have the sequels that the 3DS does.
This is true, but the Switch has only been out for 3 years. whereas
Exactly, but the Switch has
almost,
the
8
same
years.
base and likely maybe a better base.
Right.
I was thinking about it, because this is going to come up for me this weekend. So if you're listening to this, I'm going, this weekend we're recording an episode of Bored with Video Games that'll come out next week right before Christmas, where we talk about our 10 favorite games of the decade. And I've been stressing over this list quite a bit because I always, in my own head, I get into that whole thing of best versus favorite, which I'm trying to let go of. I'm trying to just pick my favorite games. But what I noticed when I was doing that, I really don't have a whole lot of inclusions from 3DS and from Vita and any like real portable stuff. And I've said this a long time. I've never really been a portable player. 3DS was really my first portable system. And while I do love the 3DS's library, Mario Golf World Tour is my favorite in the franchise. Pokemon Sun and Moon is my favorite in the franchise. Animal Crossing New Leaf is my favorite in the franchise. These are my favorite installments in those franchises, but I definitely don't know if I'd call them my favorite games of the decade. Like, they're still not, they're not on the Breath of the Wild tier of type stuff that I've been playing. And I think that's just me as I strictly kind of get towards, I mean, I think I'm a console-specific player. But I say all that to say this. I think the 3DS has a great lineup of content. There's a lot of it. I don't think they have a whole lot of, like, truly great ultimate, generation, decade-defining type games. I
disagree.
I think Fire Emblem Awakening might be my best. That might be like the best that I have to offer in that regard.
Animal Crossing New Leaf.
It did redefine Animal Crossing.
I played that game for like 2 years straight.
I know that, and I understand, and I appreciate and respect the fans that loved that game. And I played it a lot. I didn't play it as much as you, but I played it a lot myself, and that's more than I can say for most Animal Crossing games. And it was definitely a standout on the system, but standout like on the So what I'm really trying to say is, the Switch has Breath of the Wild and Odyssey. If you want to throw that in there, I don't think the 3DS has that. Like I don't think New Leaf is Breath of the Wild, and I don't think Fire Emblem Awakening. I think that's like the big difference is it doesn't have those, genre defining games, if you will.
But I mean, like those, it's also a matter of capabilities. I think.
True, I know that. It is tough because it's, it is truly a portable. It's a little handheld where the Switch is a console.
Write a comparative essay on this kind of thing because I think if I sat down and made points, I would have a lot to say.
There's definitely more quantity. Like I think Link Between Worlds is better than Link's Awakening remastered.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I think Awakening's better than Three Houses.
I don't agree with that.
I think
I love them both in their own right, but for different reasons. They're very different games. For me, we're talking about the JRPGs. 3DS was my JRPG machine. I had Fantasy Life, I had Bravely, I had all the Harvest Moons, then Story of Seasons, Etrian Odyssey, Radiant Historia was on there.
I didn't play any of these.
Oh, just so many good JRPGs. I think Switch, like we're talking about, Switch is going to get those JRPG titles now because
there's like tons of them. There's
I know, but
you got Tokyo Mirage Sessions coming. Like they just keep coming.
Well, we're going to be getting if the next Etrian Odyssey game, it's not going to be for some time.
Shin Megami Tensei.
Nexus came out late into the 3DS's lifetime. I think early this year or late last year or something like that. I think in time it probably will get to that 3DS status, but right now I know quantity doesn't equal quality, but I have so many.
It does have quantity.
Amazing games.
I'm looking at my 3DS now. I mean, I've got over 100 games here. I've got 40 or so virtual console games. I've got Shantae, I got Shovel Knight, I've got the Metroid games on 3DS were fantastic. Blast Ball and Federation Force and Samus Returns. I really liked Mario Party Star Rush. I know a lot of people don't agree with that. I've got Rhythm Heaven here. I've got Mario 3D Land, which I liked. I think Odyssey's better than 3D Land. It's got Kid Icarus.
3D Land, yes.
So I guess my issue with saying one's better than the other, I guess where my opinion falls down is I really like the 3DS's lineup, but it does feel, without sounding like derogatory, like the 3DS's games are like they're like little games, like it's Ocarina of Time and Star Fox, and like it's not big new games. It's a lot of ports and remasters,
a huge port machine.
Yeah. So it's got a lot of stuff on it, and it was really priced well, and all the games are like cheap and available. So I mean, I like it, I really do. But if I had to pick one or the other, like if you could only play, like right now, you take the 3DS's library of games to play for the rest of your life. You can play the Switch's games for the rest of your life. I think I'd pick the Switch's games for the rest of my life right now, today.
I think I would too, only because I think the amount of just the JRPGs that I know will be coming.
Yeah.
and the Harvest Moon titles, Story of Seasons, Rune Factory titles that will be coming. The promise
There's
of that.
so many JRPGs coming to Switch. It is such a JRPG machine.
Carol machine. I
I'm glad you're here to do this with me because I don't know how many of these I'm going to do. I'm going to pick like one. I think that's what I got to do from now on. I got to pick one. I'm going to play one. I'm going to pick one game and try it.
I think you would have really liked Fantasy Life. It was like this adorable JRPG slash. I don't know.
I know you love this game a lot.
Such a good game. It's really a good
Like
game.
next year, I'm going to play Xenoblade Chronicles. That's the one. Yes. This year, I played Pokemon. That was the one. It killed Dragon Quest. I'm sorry.
I'm still going to play Dragon Quest. I'm convinced.
I got to send it to you.
Yes.
Next question comes from Eggshin. If you were young again, say between 6 and 12 years old, which Switch would you be more excited to open, the Lite or the OG? I can take this question first because Jack is 10.
Go ahead.
And Jack was so more excited to play the Lite.
Yeah, just the way that it looks.
It's just the way that it looks, and it fits his little hands. You know,
as long as it looks cool, yeah. But like older me, I'm more in the. I do still like those novelty looking ones. You know, I buy the cute looking ones and have them on my shelf and everything. But I really, really like the slick look of the gray OG Switch. That's why I didn't get the neon controllers at first because I liked the clean gray look.
I mean, personally, I've never been much of a portable player. So if I had the option of playing on a TV, I always did. So I think even 6-year-old me would have wanted to play at home, play on the TV. I would have preferred that versus playing the Lite. And it was funny because Jack's played nothing but the Lite since he's got it. This weekend he played. We were playing Fortnite, and he drained the battery. So I told him to like just switch over to the Switch. He picked up my Switch and he was like, "Geez, it's so heavy." He just
yeah. I'm thinking about what I was playing during that time, and having an Atomic Purple Game Boy Color was lit. Like it was the thing. If you had the cool colors of or the translucent colors on the N64 controllers or the Game Boy colors, you know, you were the cool kid instead of sitting over here with the lame-o gray controller, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
Also the time to be alive in the 90s. Everything was colorful.
I'm going to say this in their next episode, but I can go and say it now because I think it makes sense. I think I'm going to get a Lite. I've got $75 in credit that I've been stashing. Like I have it on a GameStop trade card. And if I get just like another gift card for Christmas, or if I sell Dragon Quest or something like if I'm like $40 or $50 away from just being like, yeah, I'll just go ahead and pay the other $100 and pick up another Lite. The question then becomes, do I get the yellow one because I really like yellow one, or do I hold off and wait for the inevitable Animal Crossing one that we know is coming?
That's why I'm holding.
Yeah, so like if I'm going to buy one, if I've got, you know, because I'm essentially going to get one for half off. Like I'm going to be able to get one for like $90. So if I'm going to get one, do I wait for a special edition or do I go ahead and pop on the yellow one now? Because I still like the yellow one. I think it's still my favorite. Not sure. If I could get a yellow one used, or like if there was a sale, if I could get that price even lower, if I could get a Lite for like $60.
Don't they have post-Christmas sales though, where they like order a whole ton of inventory and
usually
time to get?
So because I don't have any other games, I've bought all these games that are coming out, and I've got Game Pass and stuff. So I have this credit that I've been holding off to the last time I traded in a bunch of games that I have had nothing to spend it on. You know, because like even on the sales that I get, I don't buy them at GameStop because the sales aren't as good. I get those on eBay and things like that. So I have nothing else to do with it. The credit's been there. I've had a credit for like 8 months just sitting there. So I don't know what to do with it. Anyway. That will do it for this episode 112, Game Awards recap of the Nintendo Shindig podcast. Love you, and we can't wait to see you next week. Hope you listen and like our Game of the Year Christmas episode, which we're going to record right now. We're going to record it right now. We're going to go off air. We're going to close this down, refresh my drink, and we're going to talk about our favorite games of 2019. And then we're going to discuss some extra 2020 stuff. So, Merry Christmas, and hopefully you tune to the next one. Keep going. Listen to the next one. We'll see you next week, Kooplings.
Bye.